Hello everyone and welcome back to the Artificial DM. Today, we're going to be taking a look at RPG horror stories. This is posted by PM Me Your Phobias. DM attacks player and tells her,
"You love it because lust is your vice."
10 years ago, my wife, girlfriend at the time, and I were invited to play a session with her best friend. We showed up and the people there were me, wife, best friend, DM, best friend's husband at the time, and random player who has nothing to do with this. We were 15, and it was wife's first time playing a tabletop RPG. DM suggested we play World of Darkness. Us being a group of edgelords said that sounds awesome. We get our characters built, and as you should know, in older versions, maybe new ones haven't played World of Darkness since, you choose a virtue and a vice that you get bonuses when they are acted upon. My wife and I, thinking it would be funny, both choose lust as our vice. We thought that if we needed the bonus, we would just be super flirty and the DM would let it fly and give us the bonus. Fast forward to session 1. None of the characters are introduced to each other, so DM is going one by one, getting us to a meetup location, some villa in the mountains. Well, DM gets to my wife and decides he was going to have her start in a bar. Pretty normal. The following exchange happens.
Describe what your character is wearing out to the bar.
A nice black dress and some heels.
You gotta be more descriptive. What does she look like? How much cleavage does she have?
What the fluke, DM? How is that relevant?
I need to know how the guys around her react.
I guess a little bit of cleavage. You said that I have a meeting here. I would like to try to be professional.
Okay, you go up to the bar and the bartender asks what you want to drink.
Just a water, thanks.
You drink the water, then start to feel kind of woozy.
Wait, what the hell is going on?
I am just getting her to the meeting place. Let me continue.
I sit back down and shut up because I'm not about to mess with someone who is 4 years older than me and double my size. To save you the rest of the dialogue, he goes on to describe that while she is coming in and out of consciousness, she sees different guys and creatures on top of her, and describes what she is feeling every time she has a little bit of awareness. Then he proceeds to tell her she can have the bonus for her vice, and that because her vice is lust,
she enjoyed every second of it.
I think at that point we were all in shock at what this 19-year-old described to a 15-year-old. It took me 7 years to convince her to let me DM a different system for her, and I had to promise her there was absolutely no sexual content. TLDR, 19-year-old DM described how a 15-year-old character is drugged, then date raped. Yet again, another example of a DM taking advantage of a situation and trying to pleasure his mental fantasies of this girl. Ugh. Honestly, I don't blame the player that she didn't want to play any RPGs after that. This post is from Zero Bat, my dragon taming time traveling semi-horror story. So I only have one story to date that I might consider a horror story, and even then, I may very well be wrong about it, so what better way to be sure than to post it to the experts? This story is from my second ever D&D/tabletop game I played in, so was still very new to the system and tabletop in general. I was playing with a group of people for my first game, with a player now DMing and the old DM in our ranks. I don't recall perfectly the party makeup, outside my shameful 5 different characters, an alcoholic elf ranger, DM's girlfriend/fiance, not sure, and the old DM who was playing a sociopathic druid when he took the spotlight in my tale. The game started, and I felt I wanted to play a bard as my character. In my mind, he wasn't a singer, but a storyteller, mainly because I was firmly in my shell, and was in no way comfortable singing to a group of people. This is where the issues already started, as I began hearing about someone named Scandalan Shorthell. At the time, never heard of Critical Role, but out of the gate, I was getting comparisons to this apparently legendary bard from another game. The game began, and for a while, outside of the constant pushes about how I should sing and not tell stories, it was alright. We found dragon eggs, hatched them, and began raising them. The big stop came later, when during a crisis moment, I went to inspire someone and the DM told me I couldn't unless I sang a thing. I felt I was clear on not doing that. I tried bartering, asking for other options, but no. Either you sing, or you can't inspire them. Add to that, the DM always hand-waving any stories I told, while others got big monologues at times. That bard was ultimately dropped. Next came my shortest-lived character, a gnome beastmaster. I decided to play him as a bit of a wild, poor social graces etc. sort of anti-bard, I suppose. It's here our spotlight falls on two of our other players. The old DM's druid, and current DM's significant other, who played another ranger, a hunter subclass. Now there was a sort of joke around the elf. We all called her an alcoholic, since without fail, every time we got into the slightest backwater of a town, her first question was always, "Where's the tavern? I need a drink." Everyone else thought it was great, but she would always get pissed off over it. The joke was at best once a session when in town. Now this girl, as soon as she saw my gnome, the first character in the campaign to be a small-sized character, she began to rip short joke after short joke. I was going with it. We poked fun at her, now it was my turn, and they were kinda chuckle-inducing. For the first 10 minutes. By the half-hour mark, the novelty was wearing thin, and I had said as much in and out of character. She kept it up, so I decided to branch out and really take the "what would your character do" type mindset. This is where what I see as my butthole move came in. My guy, unsociable forest hermit that he was, decided to toss a dagger into the wall next to her head and try to intimidate her. The DM called for an attack roll, and not thinking, I did. It's a weapon. Makes sense, you make a weapon roll. I got a nat 20, and listened as the DM told me how I, with great speed, whip out the blade, throw it with great speed, right into the ranger's shoulder. I said I wanted to hit the wall, and the DM paused before saying something along the lines of, "Oh, well, it's out there, so can't take it back," and pressed on like I intentionally tried to shank the ranger. Needless to say, the whole other 5 members dogpiled me and knocked me out. This is where the druid comes into play. As the other 4 members decided to just tie me up and wait till I wake up, the druid apparently had a one-strike policy and proceeded to outright kill my character. The others told him not to, but did nothing more to stop him. I rage quit that session, given I was dead in hour 1, and had no other characters lined up. Honestly, didn't want to keep playing after that, but DM pulled me back in. Enter character 3. I was feeling a bit contrarian, and seeing we murdered any problem, including me, I went for a monk cleric that would be a healer and deal no killing blows, just incapacitate enemies. He floated for a time, even had a good roleplay with a paladin in the group, as we talked out the philosophy of the other. He did not last long either, as at the time I was working late, so began dipping out early in sessions. Had a lovely workday when I got the ping on Discord saying my cleric died from friendly fire after I relinquished control of him. It was fine though, since they were kind enough to resurrect me in the end. That character left not trusting the party anymore. Character 4, the longest lasting one. Once more out of character ideas, and thinking of leaving, when the DM pitches me a gunslinger, and with no better ideas, I accept. He was a yes man, and plain as white bread. He honestly was just extra damage in a fight. His main thing was he was there for the actual plot development. To make a long campaign short, here's the timeline thus far. Party wakes up on a boat in a strange archipelago, begins to explore, finds dragon eggs, and a dragon cult. Hatch eggs alongside cult and keep the dragons. Return home, thinking cult can't follow. Begin aimlessly wandering. It's here that the plot suddenly comes back. After a lengthy trip to the Feywild for a backstory quest for the ranger, we come back to the material plane to find it in ruins, and we are in the future. Turns out, the cult did follow us back, and proceeded to raise the evil dragon god to ruin the land and put dragons as overlords. The original party's dragons all are now grown, but only 3 are still good, since they were raised by adventurers and serve as double agents. My bard's dragon, I'm told, sides with the cult and killed my bard, but later I learned that wasn't true, but still. So questing ensues, and not saying there was some bias, but the 3 with their dragons insisted we try to talk down all the evil dragons. It never worked, but they insisted each time. In the end, we got pulled on a side quest that involves a lich, me, and the paladin being reversed into evil-aligned, gender-bent versions of ourselves, and my gunslinger's death at the hands of the lich. Character 5, The Last Attempt. It wasn't even the next day before DM was pitching me new ideas. I settled on a monk, but perhaps trying to get a personal story, or just trying to passive-aggressively say floop you to the party, I made him the leader of the anti-dragon rebels with a suitable edgy backstory. When we met, the party was appalled I never gave those poor dragon overlords a chance to change, and tensions rose as they climbed to, "Our dragons are good, so other dragons can be good." In the end, I laid out a whole in-character explanation how I found it horrible they wanted to make peace with a dragon, as they stood on a literal floor of its victim's bones. In the end, got a paraphrased, "No, you're the butthole" response, and by then, I had enough. I left the game entirely after that. After that, I was angry at them. They didn't get my characters, and such, but with more games under my belt, it's far more gray to me. Everyone was kinda a butthole. But that's my only story, I suppose. Hope you all can enjoy. Something out of my second campaign ever. Alright, with this story, there are quite a few things wrong. I think the best way to break it down is by going through each character and just pointing out a little bit of flaw. Character 1, the Bard. Bards don't have to sing, and inspiration is a part of the game mechanics. As the Dungeon Master, you can't tell your Bard that they can't cast Bardic Inspiration unless they sing, because at the same time, that's like saying to the Sorcerer or whatever that they have to meet a criteria in order to cast a cantrip. Actually, a better example, it's like telling a player who is in a wheelchair, sorry, your character doesn't have a walk speed because you can't walk. That's ridiculous. The second character, the Gnome. He should have hit where he wanted to hit. The GM wanted to start up conflict just because he wanted to. Third character. This is on the GM again. He shouldn't have killed the monk. Sure, let the monk get shot, but he should have found a way to be like, but he's stabilized, he's healed, whatever. So that way there was no bad blood there. Character 4. This one I'm actually gonna kind of leave up for debate. Alignment switching, gender bending, all that shenanigans, it's part of the game, so I can't really say that this was targeted at this one player because the paladin was included and there was a lich involved. It's part of the story, at least from what I can see of it. Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong. And with character 5, OP says it himself. He was a butthole. He was tired of playing with a bunch of buttholes and just ramped it up to 11 on the scale to try to take some vengeance and control in his own hands in a way. The thing is, it is nice that OP reflects and says that he was in the wrong here too, but I wonder where the other players and the DM are now. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong. If you enjoyed the story, please hit like, or hit subscribe if you want to hear more videos just like this. Until next time, hope you feel inspired.